All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for our Email Marketing Made Simple. Glad that you all made it today. So just a little bit about the Small Business Development Center before we begin. We are a nonprofit organization. We provide confidential, no-cost advisory and training services to small businesses. So we are funded in part by the Small Business Administration, as well as the state of California through the governor's office. So this is a little, some of our local team here, some of our advisors, lots of different areas that they cover, whether it's funding, QuickBooks, marketing, etc. So glad to have them all on our team. Here's a little bit about what we've done over the past few years. So we've helped support businesses in obtaining loans and equity investment, advising hours, help them get employees, jobs created, as well as so many business starts. And then our office specifically, we serve Shasta and Trinity counties here in California, but there are other SBDC offices throughout the United States. So you can check online, just search for your local SBDC. There's going to be one that serves your county. All right, and then we do have to read this disclaimer before we get started. So the information provided in this webinar and any supplementary materials provided to registrants are intended for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute professional, financial, or legal advice. No registrant should act or fail to act on the basis of any material contained in this webinar without obtaining proper financial, legal, or other professional advice specific to their situation. The Northern California Small Business Development Center and its host, the Cal Poly Humboldt Sponsored Programs Foundation, specifically disclaims any liability, loss or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence, directly or indirectly, of the use and application of any of the information provided in this webinar. And then I also wanted to mention we are going to be sending out a copy of the PowerPoint as well as a link to the recording after the webinar is over. So you will get that as well. All right, and then today Lani Lott is going to be presenting. She has been a great asset to the SBDC here in Redding as well as the region. She is one of our marketing specialists. She's also good at startup information and then other business information as well. As you can see, she's done several years working on economic development, downtown revitalization, and then assisting other SBDC offices as well.
Great.
All right, so I'll hand it over to you, Lani.
Thanks, Emily, and welcome everyone. Boy, I can't believe we're in September and we're in the last quarter of the year. Where has 2022 gone? So as we start to look into the end of the year and focus maybe on the beginning of 2023, that you might be interested in updating your marketing strategy. And so we are going to talk today all about email marketing. Some of you may already be pros at this, have a really robust campaign, looking for just some additional ideas. And others, like many businesses, are just starting to tip their toe into email marketing, starting to maybe think about that being a strategy for the last quarter of the year, especially if you are in hard goods and products like a lot of our retailers, some of our food and beverage sectors, as well as the hospitality sector, start to really push out reminders about some of the promotions they have, or their special shopping hours, or that they're open for business, they're still doing delivery. So whatever the messaging is, email marketing is very important. So when we look at our, am I having problems with, oh, okay. I just saw the chat pop up, Emily. So I'm sure you'll let me know if I'm having any issues with my sound or my PowerPoint. So we will have time for some questions and answers. This is a little bit longer webinar. It's an hour and 30 minutes. So hopefully we'll have some time at the end to answer some questions or share some things that you found very effective with maybe your email marketing strategy. So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of email marketing. how to build your email list, which is critical. Without an email list, really email marketing doesn't have much impact. And then just some pointers on drafting your first email marketing campaign. And that can be a newsletter, that can be just an announcement that you're a reminder that you're open in all the ways that people can shop or do business with you, to as detailed as a special promotion maybe you're running for the fall season, or the holiday season that's coming up. And then maybe some suggestions of content to use post-pandemic. Now, I say that because we're still in recovery. We're still coming out of the pandemic. Some of us are back to business as usual. Some of us are seeing our business pivot. And so some content when you start thinking about what should I really put into my first email and campaign. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. So why is email marketing important? And there's lots of reasons, but it is one of the most effective forms of staying in front of your customers or your vendors or your patients, or whatever your business audience is. It is the practice of sending marketing messages to prospective and current customers via email in order to either sell, educate, or build loyalty and brand awareness. Email is an owned digital marketing channel where the sender, you, the business owner, or the organization, fully controls the content and the distribution. So unlike some of maybe our social media platforms, email marketing, you create the message like you do in social media, but then you send it directly to all of the emails that you have collected from your customers or your leads. And now, the rest of the story is they may not always open it. It will drop into their email box account. Sometimes it is picked up by spam. We will talk a little bit about how you might eliminate it going into spam. And then individuals or your customers or your leads have the choice to open that email or not. Now, what I like to always say, and if you've been on one of my other webinars about email marketing or just marketing in general, and I bring up this strategy, is that not to make the decision about your email marketing that you don't want to do it because you don't like to get all those emails. It isn't up to you to choose whether your customers want to open it or not. Now, it is your decision whether you want to do it and go through the work of putting together a campaign and collecting the emails. But it is one of the more impactful return on your investment. And if you're using a program like a MailChimp or Constant Contact, and I'm just saying those two because they're the most familiar, they have a lot of the built-in language that folks can easily unscribe to your email. So if you've collected the email address, they've given you permission to collect it one way or the other. You've segmented it to a specific audience. Let's say you're out on the road working at a festival and you've collected emails from that specific event or festival and you put them into your email list, then you create that campaign, then they will have the ability to unsubscribe if they do not want to continue to receive it. If you're not getting a good open rate, and I think I have a slide in here about what are common open rates for emails. If not, I think I have a link to a PDF that you can then see what for your specific industry, what's the average open rate. And that open rate is one of the things that you look at to see how effective your messaging is. And so sometimes we have to work on tweaking it, adding some tips like better images, maybe better timing. So it isn't necessarily that people don't want your email, they're just not opening it because it's not appealing to them in that specific moment. Email typically works best when you use to send personal, relevant messages to segmented list of recipients, of course. The more we can drill down into that, the more effective your emails will be. But really, my one recommendation is that you should start to at least collect the emails, and then we'll figure out what your next step is in terms of drafting your first campaign. It is effective, incredibly effective at driving sales. And when I mentioned that return on your investment, this is a infographic that I obtained, and it says that for every dollar you spend in your marketing, that your return on email marketing is about $40, where catalog's a little less, SEO higher, internet display, and of course these are just some of the tips of the iceberg when it comes to some of our digital marketing. Email is one of the best channels for maintaining and strengthening customer relationships over time. And what we found during the pandemic is that, of course, when people were sheltered in place or were not able to travel and visit your town or your business, if you're located in a town that depends on that visitor market, you know, one way we stayed in front of our customers that were not located in our immediate trade area was through email marketing. We've worked a lot with our food and beverage sectors, trying to have them get emails out to their customers so people knew how to order from them, where to pick up. A lot of our retailers, the same thing. They pivoted very quickly into e-commerce and having some selling through the internet. And so we would use emails to let their customers know that they had a shop open and how to access that online shop. Business to business, which is like what I am. You know, we reached out to some of our past clients to let them know that we were still around and that we would assist and that we could do things virtual, Zoom meetings. And of course, here with the SBDC and Shasta-Cascade, most of our workshops, of course, were quite quickly pivoted to webinars, where in the past, I'd be sitting in a room and looking at all you guys in a room together, and we'd be physically. So we immediately, the Shasta-Cascade, and Emily does a great job with our email marketing, started to send out emails regularly with not only the list of our webinars that are always free or low cost, but a lot of the resources. So all sectors found that it was one of the most effective ways to continue to stay front of mind with your customers, engaging with your clients, and really letting them know the status of how they could buy from you, get your services, and what kind of resources were available. And email is not influenced by a third-party gatekeeper. When I say that, like, you know, some of our social media campaigns or platforms like Facebook, we don't own that. We don't own that list. We don't own that. You know, we don't even own our Facebook page. We may be the administrators of it, but Mega could take it down in a minute, or the same with any of our other social media platforms. Not saying they're not effective. They are extremely effective for everyday engagement, and it is everyday engagement. But with your email list, you own that. That is yours, and nobody can take it away from you unless you buy a list. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. That is a big no-no in the email marketing world. So when do you want to start to use email marketing? Well, I would say yesterday. And I know all of you are like, well, I don't want her to tell me I should start. I know it, but how do I do it? Well, we're going to get there. So you want to start to use it when you want to build relationships, build connections through personalized engagement. Boost your brand awareness and your loyalty with your customers. Keep your company and your service top of mind for the moment when your prospects are ready to engage, or your customers are ready to purchase a product or service. Or even just to let them know, especially if you are a bricks and mortar, or you have a storefront or an office building and you're open for business again, that what are your hours? Do you still have health and safety protocols in place? Are you still offering anything virtual, like on virtual appointments? Or how do I, do business with you? So really, again, keeping brand awareness. And it's a pretty competitive marketplace out there. And yes, a lot of the larger businesses are really dominating a lot of the email marketing. However, if you have a list that you've curated organically and built relationships with your customers over time, they will recognize your business or your organization when it pops into their email, and they're more apt to open it. You want to promote content. You want to use your email to share relevant blog content or useful aspects or assets to your prospects, or an upcoming promotion you're doing, or maybe you're going to be at a certain event and you want to let them know about that. You want to let all your customers know that you're back in the area, you're going to be attending that. Maybe you want to just promote some of your upcoming services that you've added since the pandemic, or you've changed the way that they are delivered. This on the right-hand side, and I try to use samples from the areas that I am, presenting to. So some of my examples would be from the Shasta-Cascade territory, which is Shasta and Trinity County. However, this one is from my Hadford business, my insurance company for my business liability insurance. And I just love them. They don't send out a lot of emails, but the ones that they do send out are typically timed when my policy is about ready to renew. And it's really a great reminder. They have offer a checkup to see how my business has changed. It comes right into my email, and it gives me my policy number up there and when it's going to renew. It's just a very clean reminder. And the call for action is start my checkup. And if I click on that, then it'll take me through an assessment to see if how my business has changed. So it's a really great reminder, not only that my renewal is coming up, but that maybe I should look and see if I need to up or down any of my insurance coverage. Email marketing can be used to generate leads. You can entice subscribers to provide their personal information in exchange for an asset that you'll find valuable. We'll talk about that. It could be either a white paper or a PDF of a certain study that was done, or a blog that has a lot of information about a certain subject. So there's lots of ways to get leads generated from using email marketing. And of course, market your products and services. I mean, if we didn't use email marketing to do that, then why are we even wanting to do it, right? You want to promote your products and your services. And sometimes it is just a very straightforward promotion. And other times it's more about maybe a new product you're bringing into your business, or a new service you're added, and you want to just kind of communicate that, and it's a soft promotion of your products and services. As we get into the fourth quarter, you're going to see more and more coming through for our retailers about promotions they have for coming down into their storefront to purchase products, or pushing people over to their online shop as a reminder. You may see food and beverage sector reminding folks that they do catering or they have a room for that special event. You may see more from like the hospitality sector to remind folks now's the time to make your reservation. I know that I travel with Southwest, and I just received a special promotion they're doing right before the holidays. So, it's all relevant to your products or services, but your email marketing campaign should at least one time a month promote directly some of your products and services. And then nurture leads, and this is really for business to business, is to delight your customers with content that can help them achieve their goals. So if you're service-based, professional-based, then you want to remind folks like my checkup here. And, the end game for my insurance company is that I renew with them, right? I'm not shopping around, looking around, but it's, a reminder, and they want to, continue to do business with me. So lots of reasons to use it, when to use it. So here's some of the benefits. There's 4 billion email users worldwide. And like I said, it generates about $36 for every dollar spent. I said 40 in that other study, but it's around that. 79% of marketers list email marketing in their top 3 most effective marketing channels. So as you add this to your marketing strategy, or maybe you already have, and you're finding that it's getting a really strong return on your investment, and you're measuring that impact, and it's going side by side with your social media platforms, maybe some print, maybe your website, maybe you're actually doing in-person networking now, so you can measure it against that. You own the channel, I mentioned that. There's no external entity that can impact how, when, or why you reach out to your subscribers. Really key. All that extra work we do with our social media platforms, not always does our organic post drop into their news feeds or into their channels. And we're finding more and more that our social media platforms are really, to get the most impact out of it, are really requiring you pay to play or advertise with them, whether it's a boost or an actual ad campaign with Facebook or Instagram or even Pinterest, even LinkedIn. Sometimes it's your audience doesn't always see everything that you're dropping in. Here, they may see it. Here, they may not click on it, but that's another story. 31% of business-to-business marketers say email newsletters are the best way to nurture for their potential prospects or clients. Oh, I have a dollar sign there instead of a percent sign. I'm like, okay, there's a little typo. I'll change that before we mail this out to you. 30% of business to consumers marketers send daily marketing emails to their subscribers. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you have to send a daily email marketing to your customers, unless you're subscribers, unless you are really motivated, and or you have a very segmented list and you are sending something different to each of the list, or the list is segmented, so you have to send separate emails daily. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving you some stats here. 57.2% of marketers say the e-commerce brands they manage have 1,000 to 10,000 contacts. So as you're launching an e-commerce site, building that list of contacts is really key. And this is, 1,000 contacts is a pretty robust list to have, but it can grow quite quickly, especially if you have an online shop that you're capturing emails through sales. And then 85.7% of e-commerce marketers say the primary objective of their email is brand awareness. Keep it in, keep that brand out there in front of their customers and potential customers. More benefits, consumers prefer emails. 99% of us check our email every day. I know, we're all there. 73% of millennials prefer communications from businesses to come via email. And I can say this is true. I have a millennial daughter, and she checks it at least, at least once a day. And she does communicate primarily through emails. We're seeing this more and more. Less people are picking up the phone and calling. We're maybe using other forms of communication like direct messaging. But yes, emails is one of the ways we're communicating. And 50% of US respondents check their personal email account 10 times a day. So next time you're thinking, well, that seems really high, see how many times you check it. Now, as a business, and all of my communication with my clients come through my email, unless I'm like today running a little late and Emily picks up the phone and calls me, thank goodness. I check it at least 10 times a day. And then when we have our mobiles synced with our desktops or our laptops, and we're even checking it more often, because not only for personal reasons, but really for looking for from business aspect, and it's affordable. Now, with that said, like our social media platforms you don't have spend a lot to go into start with email marketing. When you start with any of the other software that's out there to help manage your email marketing list and has templates for you to choose from, there is a little bit of a cost, but really, when you factor in how much a leverage you can have with your email, what it does cost is the time. And again, the content, and again, the images, and again, thinking about what do I want to say, do, what's the end game with my email marketing. And over here, this is one of our great screenshots of our Shasta-Cascade newsletter. I would definitely encourage all of you to sign up for it, especially if you're located in Shasta and Trinity County. And even if you're not, we have great webinars offered all the time. So we're always sending out information about any resources that are available. And, things are always continuously changing with our business and our economy. And so often it's very valuable information as a resource for your business to be ahead of what's coming up and prepare if you're going to apply for a loan, or you need some assistance with applying. You want assistance with your QuickBooks, whatever it may be. We may have the services to assist you. Okay, here you go. You're saying, okay, enough of all this. I know it's good. Now tell me how to get going. So really getting started with email marketing is not hard. Here is I'm laid out kind of some, probably 7 points for you to think about in the big picture. What does it entail? Well, you need to define your audience. So that comes with collecting and creating your email list. And you may have your website, and you may have a pop-up there. You may get emails directly from your QuickBooks when they're purchasing with you, or your point of sale. The one thing about Square that a lot of people are using, or online payments, is that it always asks for an email. Well, you know what they're doing with those emails. They're capturing them so they can then thank you for your purchase, send you the receipt, and then add to the list so that down the road they can communicate with you, or remarket or promote their goods and services to you. So you need to define your audience. When you think about that, and you've maybe gathered a list, maybe the first place is, okay, I've got 300 names from all the folks that I had contact with. I got, all these from my email book, even a simple book where people write them in, or from your point of sale. And this is going to be my first audience. This is going to be the people that have actually shopped with me in the last year. And this will be your, define your audience. Know the average email stats for your industry. So over here, I just thought this was so key. I got it from a blog from Hootsuite, a great resource. And they have put the industry, and then you can check across the industry and see what the average open rate is for, let's say this is a nonprofit, or let's go up here into consumer packaged goods, that the average open rate is 20%. Your click-through rates, click-through, and I'll go through this at the end when we're talking about stats. That's if you building in your email marketing, you have lots of links. Links are the secret, because you want to send them to the right place to learn more about the information. You don't want to put all of the narrative into the email body, because they will not read it. So click-throughs are when people click to another site to learn more about what you're talking about in your actual email. Then we have click to open rates, and that's when they actually click through and open up the document. And then unsubscribed rates. Oops, my little arrow. So unsubscribe rates are pretty low when you see this in these, and these are just averages. So, this will just give you an idea how close you are to your open rates when you start really pushing out emails. Now, I do some email marketing for 2-3 of my clients. They're all nonprofits. We do a newsletter. I do a quarterly newsletter for them. We pack it with information, gather up everything that's happened in the quarter, put it in the buckets, and then send it out. And our open rate is about 32%. So when I see 26%, I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty good. Because folks will always say, well, I only have an open rate of 12, or my open rate's is 20%. Why isn't it higher? Well, it could be lots of different reasons, or you may be, if you're in one of these industries, maybe you're right there at the average open rate is. And that's pretty good. Establish your goals. What are you trying to do with your email marketing? Come up with your campaign goals, and then start to gather the content. Like I said, a newsletter, you can think about the different things that you would want to put in your quarterly newsletter if you're the organization. If you're a retail shop, you may want to just send out one a month about upcoming events that you're going to be hosting, promotions on new products that you may have. You may want to showcase some of your staff. You may want to showcase testimonials, whatever it is. But you establish your goals, and, really high. I'm a believer in high level goals. So maybe your first goal is just to start my email campaign and push out one a month. That's a good goal. Build your email list. Choose an email campaign type. There's lots of different types. One advantage of using some email software to manage your list and your programs is that they give you lots of examples of different types of campaign types. And then make a schedule, and then measure the impact, or measure your results. So that's it in the big picture. That's everything that it takes. Let's start to dissect that piece by piece. All righty, let me get rid of my little bar down here. Whoops, sorry guys. I have my bar and it's in my way here. All right, so let's say your audience. So we want to think about, the different things that you're going to want to do with promoting getting started with your email and your goals. So here is some high-level goals. Stay connected or reconnect with your customers, increase your brand awareness, which is usually a top of the goal list. Promote some value-added incentives or loyalty programs. Maybe you're launching a loyalty program, rewards, or you have one going and you want to just get it really kind of pumped up for the holidays. Achieve a higher quality of sales. So maybe you want to add, put added on value so that you have additional sales, or people have some added on, like for the insurance company, they may want to up me some of my coverage. So they're going to offer that. Drive online or in-person sales, create a loyal fan base. So these are just some of the goals. Yeah, they sound like outcomes, but really sometimes our goals are our outcomes from our efforts in marketing, or just in general. This is actually a little shop that is located in Phoenix. I came across this one time when I was, looking at independent shops that are located in urban settings. And I just love this shop. I've actually been to it, but they have a very robust email campaign. It doesn't come out all the time, but there's always lots of juicy things there. So, and if, they carry the products that I like and I don't want to, visit a large national chain for them, and I want to support local, all of this is wrapped into their brand. So they said, okay, enjoy an additional 20% off on online. If you're a first customer, then they have their favorites. You can just click on there and go into shop. They have their story. They show a picture of their storefront. And so it's really cleanly done, and it's just a reminder. And then they often send out an email just showcasing a certain category of their products or services. So Frances, this is her, she's designed her email to match her brand, her font, her colors. And so it's just, probably had some help with it. And this is actually her storefront. And it faces a very, very 5-lane busy street in Arizona. And you actually enter from the back. And if you look at any of her other emails, she'll show you the back entrance, really much more inviting. And she uses that a lot for her image in her first part of her email. Okay, building your list. So, not any right way or wrong way, just lots of different ways to do it. And you want to set up a pre-launch page. So that would be a pop-up from your opt-in right from your website. You want to collect emails from sales and customer accounts. We talked about that. It could be as simple as one of my clients, she just has her business cards and she gives them a business card, and then she asks them to fill out the back of one with their email, and she puts it in a big bowl and she collects them physically and then adds them to her list. She doesn't have a website. She's a very small business up in a very small area, just hasn't done a website yet. She does have a Etsy shop, and she does also have a Facebook page, which she then also does promote, to sign up for her emails. But physically getting them, especially at point of sale, that is an opportunity to ask your customer, would you like to receive an email? We send them out bi-monthly or 3 times a year when we have a special promotion. And we would love to keep you in the loop. You just have to ask them and grab that email. Capture when you're networking. The thing about the pandemic was there wasn't really any face-to-face networking, and we were suddenly doing everything virtual. So I would see a lot of through LinkedIn or a personal email, just come back and say, hey, I would love to, talk to you more about my business. Here's my email. I have some, regular, do some regular emails about my services come out. Just love you to join and opt in, or go to our website and sign up for our email. So, again, when networking, the business card is your number one. Everyone needs a business card. You should have your email on it, your website if you have one, your social media handle if you have one. Remember, the back of the card can be used. You can list your products and services. But again, we are seeing, and you should always have them with you, right? And this is another way to capture emails. And then if you belong to an association, a business association, whether that's a chamber, downtown association, industry specific, especially if you're starting to go to conferences, you're going to take those emails, you're going to take your business cards, you're going to exchange, you're going to get other ones back, you can add them to your email list. And then the opt-in form. It's an attractive design, attention-grabbing header, make copy relevant to the offer, keep the form simple, set your opt-in for double confirmation. Now, this is a bookstore, and this is where you can sign up for their newsletter and be the first to know about special sales, author events, and you just sign up right there. And we've all seen these, and we all sign up for them, and then we sometimes unscribe. And the incentive usually is something of value, like a percentage off, especially if you have products and services, or and first time only. And a lot of our online software, as well as for shopping, as well as our websites, have the ability to have that opt-in come in very easily. And so if you're using a third-party program or software like MailChimp or Constant Contact, they have the ability, and there's a language and there's the easy steps to go and put that onto the front of your website. If it pops up on every page, it just pops up on your home page, however it pops up. Okay, so I found this one really interesting, accelerating signups with lead magnets. Now, it's a lead magnet is exactly as it sounds. It's something that attracts prospects to your email list, usually in the form of a free offer. The offer can take a number of formats, should be valuable to your prospects, and is given away for free in exchange for an email address. There's just one problem. People have become hyper protective of their personal information. So you can't expect to receive an email address without exchanging something for value, right? So think about a lead magnet that is relevant, useful, and makes your prospect or your customers' lives easier. So here we have an ebook, and this might be more for maybe professionals, sector or service-based sector, but a white paper, a report or a study, a checklist, a webinar you're going to be doing, a tool. So you want to kind of think about providing practical information that solves a problem and creates a realistic way to solve it. They should be, if you're looking at a lead magnet, it should be delivered in a digital format, either by a PDF or a web page. A video is good too. Make sure your offer is aligned with the value that you'll provide, and then treat it as a stepping stone to your paid solutions. The point of your email is to eventually guide individuals, subscribers, people to do business with you to a paid offer. Now, with that said, here is this is HubSpot, and they are a great resource. They have lots of different blogs and lots of different topics, and I do use them to kind of get broader information on a subject that I'm going to talk about. Things change very quickly in the digital marketing world, and I don't know everything about everything. So I'm always looking, to make sure that I'm delivering the right information and it's accurate. And so this is an example of a lead magnet. You get 100 email subject lines we actually clicked, and you download now. But when you do download, they ask for your name and your email and your business, and then they're going to remarket back to you. But you get this email, you get this downloadable list of 100 email subject lines that people actually click. And so it gives you an idea of how to maybe make a better and more effective email subject line, which is key in email marketing. So I'm just using this as an example for you to see. And then, of course, other ways of building your email list is in person. So I see there's a few questions here. Do we have a couple questions, Emily?
Yeah, so let's see. So there were questions about how to start with lead generation, which you kind of just went over a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then there was also a question if there are any email templates that we're handing out.
Email templates. No, I'm not going to give you any email templates. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to give you some ideas of how to make an email template. But, and this is perfect segue right into this, how to send your marketing emails. Now, there are, lots of different companies that provide email templates. As a SBDC, we can't recommend one over the other. I know what I've used, and I know I can attest to them having both advantages and disadvantages. The two that come top of mind, and probably just because they've been around the longest, is Constant Contact, and then MailChimp, which does offer, or used to offer, a bit of a free with so many emails that to get started. It does have limitations in the templates, but you can actually just go on to either of those sites and see some email templates. I will give you some ideas of how to maybe start to put together your email. And there is an example in one of my PowerPoints of how to structure it. So here is, why would you consider an email marketing service? Well, first of all, it's an affordable resource. If you are going to be continuously creating new emails yourself with a template from what, it's going to be pretty time consuming. The thing I found with an email marketing service is that it doesn't sit like, it's like you log into it, like you log into Constant Contact, or you log into MailChimp. And again, this is your list, your accounts, and you're paying for them to be hosted outside of your hard drive, right? So if your computer crashes, or you have 3 or 4 people that are working with you, and you have a marketing company that's going to do some of your email marketing for you, or you have another staff person that you would like to maybe have them add all the emails to your list, they can access it from their computer or their, at their place, whether it's at your place of work or at their place, and add. So, for example, the 3 organizations that I do their email marketing, I can access their accounts. They pay for it. It's their list, but I am the one drafting. I'm the person that's putting together their email marketing and pushing it out. So I can access it through my desktop or my laptop, and it's not on my hard drive. I have lost a list because someone went in there and eliminated it, somebody else. So you always want to back up your list. And it's very easy with an email marketing service. You can back it up as a CVS or an Excel, and then you can reload it again. But if you needed to, let's hope not. And they have all the bells and whistles built in. A lot of them are growing into also getting into social media. They're also tying your e-commerce with your email marketing. A lot of websites have built-in marketing services. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but they all have easy to build forms, landing pages, and calls for action. You can upload images and they'll store them in the library. You can upload some PDFs. I think MailChimp does. I'm not sure about Constant Contact. I haven't used that one for a bit, but you can have a PDF that sits there. You link onto that PDF, and then folks who get your emails can read that whole PDF. Has automation. You can schedule your emails. You can segment your list, and just send it out to one list, or send out a different email to a different list. Has built-in analytics, an array of templates, and like I said, it's not housed on your hard drive. Now, with all of that said, you're like, well, which one should I do? Well, I think that is something that you need to kind of research a little bit. And we have an excellent YouTube webinar that our center did. And it is about the differences between email marketing services. And our advisor goes into some details of the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of a few of the different types of email marketing services. So I would suggest you watch that. You know, you have to look at the pricing. Like I said, I believe a few of them will offer you no cost. Some of them are built into a package. If you're already using a website hosting, they may build it into the package. MailChimp's free one, very limited. You can't really do as much as if then you start to purchase. The more emails you you get, the little bit higher the list goes. Like we started with MailChimp because it was like 1,000 emails and it's free. And we were happy with the limited, but then we grew our list to 3,000 and now we have to pay. So like anything that you are investing your marketing dollars in, you're going to want to use it and leverage it. And so you don't want to just pay for a service and you're not going to ever really take advantage of some of what it offers, whether that's a template, segmenting your list, hosting your list. I tell businesses, just even before you start all this, if you just start to ask for emails or you're getting emails, like I know with Square, when I purchase something and people are using that as their point of sale, it automatically pops in a review, right? They already got my email because it comes to my email, my receipt does. Then they ask, how was the service, the little smiley faces. And very rarely, I never get an email back from some of these folks that I'm purchasing from, but eventually I know they will. But if you are just asking customers at the point of sale, or you're just getting them physically, I still see guest books open and people are taking, written emails. I'm seeing more since the pandemic. More folks are using iPads to get those emails and it goes right into their email account. But if you're just getting them and you have a few sales a day, just send back a personal email. Thank you for stopping by my shop. I really hope you enjoyed your, what you purchased, or thank you for your stopping by and talking to me about your insurance needs. I hope that I could answer your questions, and please feel free to contact me again. I just wanted to give you, here is a very interesting blog that I found out about the importance of that type of insurance, even just that personal email going back to that customer before you even start a formal email campaign is effective. This is Shasta County's Art Council's email. They are using a pretty sophisticated constant contact program, marketing service. They've created their once a month. I think it comes out once a month. It might come out even, they got a lot going on there. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of concerts, a lot of things for artists. So they got a lot of information. And I think they're sending that out bi-monthly, every other week or twice a month. But they've structured it to be in like, here is a call for artists. This is always on there. They're always looking for artists. Then this weekend. Now, if there's in the summertime and they've got a lot of things going on, this weekend. Now, they have to gather this information. It just doesn't appear. So someone is in there gathering the content, scrubbing the sites. Maybe they have, members, they're looking at their Facebook page, or they're getting press releases or PSAs from their members. They're looking at some of the venues that are having entertainment. So they're putting all that content together, then they're putting it in their email structure. So that is a bit of work. Doesn't have to be that sophisticated. You know, they just have a lot of things going on, a lot of stuff to promote. I know Emily does a great job with our email, and maybe she'll share at the end how she puts together the SBDC's email and talk about, you know, maybe share a little bit about how that works, because I'd love to hear that from Emily. I see there's another question here, maybe. Oh, okay. Thank you, Emily, for putting that in there. She put in the chat that actual email about different email marketing services. Okay, so here, that question about, do I have an example of templates? And, you know, the sample of templates would be also, if you are, look at some of what your competitors are doing and see what templates they're using. They see what service they're using. It's always going to be at the bottom of the email. It'll say constant contact, or it'll say, you know, Squarespace, it'll say whatever, MailChimp, it'll say what service they're using. That would be a way also to investigate or do a little market research about what might be out there relative to your industry if you're looking at some of your competitors. You know, the internet is like such it made our life so much easier when we started to be able to, I'm going to just get my phone because I got to make sure I'm on my timeline here. Such an open array of being able to see what our colleagues are doing and what our competition is doing, and kind of looking at and tracking. So look at the emails that they're pushing out. You can even subscribe to it, so it drops right in your email box and you can see what, you know, how they're promoting it. So here's some email marketing tips. I'm going to make sure I don't have more handout notes on this one. No. So this is again from HubSpot, and I just screenshot this, and this is what, you know, one of their newsletter templates that they have. Now, when you're using another service, or you've created that email template with however you're going to do it, then you have it, right? You save it. Like I said, for an newsletter, you know, you save that January, February, March newsletter, let's say, you know, 2023, first quarter 2023 newsletter. And then the next time that you come around, you have it saved, and then you can just update the content. So you're not recreating the header, all of the language that has to go into the email marketing newsletter or campaign to make sure that, you know, you're following regulations. So you may have like 3 or 4 or 5 different templates you use. One's a newsletter, maybe one's a monthly promotion, maybe one is an introduction thank you newsletter, maybe one is about an event that's coming up. And so all of those templates sit in your marketing service, and then you just go back and use them again and refresh the content with new images, new text. It makes it really simple to do. You have to check everything. And if you're a bad speller like me, you got to have someone spell check it. And you can send a sample newsletter before you actually publish it. You can send it to somebody else and they can look at it. I have a colleague who is my wordsmith. He just loves to look at it and spell check it and rewrite it. I don't take it personal anymore. So he does do that. And so some of those like things that you don't even think about are really useful, especially if you're including a lot of links. You want to make sure all your links work. Nothing's more frustrated. And I know we as consumers, when we get an e-newsletter and the link says, sorry, page not found, we are immediately like, oh, now that didn't do me any good, right? So you always want to make sure all the links work, that all the words are spelled correctly. Even sometimes the glitch comes in that the fonts look fine, but then when you get it, it's different. And then more and more email marketing services are also formatting the email so that it looks okay on a mobile, as well as a desktop, as well as or a laptop, as well as an smaller iPad, let's say, you know, a smaller version. So they give you the 3 different sizes. So copy should be consistent with your voice. just like what I say in social media, when you're creating your social media personality and voice, the same is going to come through on your email marketing. You kind of want to create, if you create the way you talk and you write, don't worry about it if somebody else is writing it much more professional. This is really more personalization, right? You definitely want to have accurate information, using the right, if you're going to use first person, really, like, you want to say, I really want to thank everyone that to come by my shop. I am so happy to be open again. Please stop by and say hi, and then maybe sign your name, because that's a really personalized. So you want to kind of create your voice, and your voice is going to be created by how you present the content, right? How you're writing the narrative. Sometimes we're sharing content. We may be bring in but usually you want to introduce any of the content in your own voice, and then say, please enjoy this, link here to read more of this wonderful infographic on the future of insurance, and you link it over to that blog or to that PDF. Images, you want to make sure they're optimized for all devices and they are quality. So again, unlike social media, where maybe it goes through the feed really fast, you want to make sure that you're taking great images. You're taking, you have quality images. Some email marketing services, they have a limit of how big it could be. When you start to put it into your email, you're going to find that, let's see, how do I say this? That it doesn't fit right. So, it's really, really big pixels. So you got to pull it down, and then you've got to put it, do you want it centered? Do you want it right? Do you want it left? Oh my gosh, it's wrapping, all of the verbiage. And when it looks at desktop is like one little strip. So all of that goes into the format of creating your email. Call for action, relevant to the offer and stand out. Now, when that is said, I have seen some recommendations that you should have a call for action on every piece of content. I think that's kind of a lot. I would say, think of that call for action as it's relevant to the piece of content. If you're just doing a welcome, or like a letter from the president, or a letter from the founder, or just opening, the owners want to, here's what the owners have to say, or whatever it is, you probably don't want to call for action. But then as you move into more of the depth of the body of your email, you may want to have a call for action in more of those key areas. Responsiveness, 55% of emails are open on mobile. So you again want to make sure it's optimized for that mobile. You can actually send it to your mobile in a preview and look at it if it's not showing you that it on when you're preparing the email. Personalization, be personal and address your reader in a familiar tone. I already talked a little bit about that's your voice. And then subject line. And I see I clicked here where you can actually get that 100 email subject lines that they actually click, kind of that download I showed you earlier. I believe I downloaded it, and you should be able to, when you get this PDF back, you should be able to click on that. So you want to use clear, actionable, enticing language that is personalized in the subject matter. The subject matter line, the subject line. I know that there's recommendations. You can actually, some of the email marketing services have the extra bells and whistles that would say, we would, test this line. This line's really long. It's not enticing enough. So, because that's what we see. When you open your email box, you just see the subject line, and you decide right then and there whether you're going to, dump it or open it. So again, if it's relevant to your list, there's more apt they're going to open it. If the subject line is enticing, is relevant, is personalized, more apt If you're not pushing out a lot of emails, then they're probably going to open it again because they, are very excited that you're receiving it. So here, this is a little hard to see, but you're going to always want your logo at the top, typically a featured image. Then you have your headline. This would be your top story. And then they've aligned them this way. I align mine the opposite way. I usually put my text here and my images on this side. It just really is by your choice. Here's they saying this is like a promotional content with a call for action. Always have your social media links. Very easy to do with marketing services. You want to make sure email marketing services, you want to make sure they actually link if you're using YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not sure what other ones, if your website. And then down here is the contact information. If you have a physical address, your email, your website, and then subscription info is always down at the bottom. You'll put the bottom down then for them to unscribe. Okay, how to send email, marketing emails. Well, you push the send button. That's about as easy as it gets, but breaking up your large email list into subcategories. So often if you like the 3,000 person list, they can send it out into batches because I have that as one list. Then I have several other lists, but you can send it out in batches. You're thinking about your email segmentation by individual sign up for different reasons, ways, and readiness. So if you have an in-shop, and then you're also doing online, you may have two segmented lists that way. If you're doing events, if you're selling as a vendor and you're going to other events like like street fair or farmer's market, but then you also have, you're selling on your website, that may be the way you segment it. I segment our list by where I'm tabling as a non-for-profit that I manage their emails. We sometimes do tabling at different events. And so then we'll do it that way. Or we just do it whether they've signed up from our newsletter and it goes in from our website and it goes right into a special list. First step is creating separate lead magnets, opt-in forms, list knowing how you obtain the emails. And then you can break up your list by geographical location, lifestyle, stage, awareness, industry, previous engagement with your brand, language, job title, all kinds of ways to break up your list. When you're beginning, just kind of give it some thought, and maybe you want to have just one master list. Or maybe not. Maybe it's the way that this is from our storefront. That's how we're going to start. Or we're just going to use it for our online. And we're just going to promote back to everybody who's online. So however you're going to manage that list. So this is the email regulations. Now, that disclaimer that Emily talked about in the beginning, I am just giving you some high-level information about if you're wanting to find out, you're more nervous about all the regulations, you can go in a little deeper. So let me talk about, here we go. Typically, CAN spam is an acronym for controlling the assault of non-solicited pornographic and marketing, because sometimes the two go together. So basically, you are saying that it's going into this, it's going to go into the spam compliance, but you have to have these things to be in compliance. Best, you have to have your company name and addresses in every email. This is constant contact. I'm using North Tahoe Business Association. I'm just using this as an example. This is built in. This is one of the advantages of this email marketing service. So then it has placed visible unsubscribed links within your email. So they have my email right there. Use real addresses in the from and reply fields. That's up on the top. And then write subject lines that indicate the contents of the email. So you want to, in practice, this compliance is a way to protect subscribers' right to only receive emails that they've requested. The law was passed in 2003 and applies to any commercial emails used for business purposes. This is where you want to be very sensitive about purchasing emails because they will catch you very quickly. It'll go, it'll be spam alert, and they'll realize that you're using a purchased list, and they'll take down your email service. So we'll move on from that. Okay, the spam box or folder. How do you avoid the spam folder? Well, I think different email servers or email programs have maybe more robust spam folder, and people, I don't know, my emails that go to my sister who has Yahoo is always in her spam folder. I'm hoping she did not mark my emails as spam, but the Yahoo seems to be a little bit more robust with my email. So you want to think about getting whitelisted, which is a term which I found very interesting. It's the opposite of blacklist, meaning it's a list of approved senders that are allowed to reach the subscriber's box. And the easiest way to accomplish this is to have your subscribers add your email addresses to their address book and include directions on how to do this. So I had a hard time finding any emails that actually do this, but I found the American's Test Kitchen. Now, my husband, he loves American Test Kitchen. So we get he signs up for the emails. He wants their recipes. He wants everything about them. And so they put it right here in the bottom of their email. Now, pretty sophisticated, higher level company, but it says, we send you this email because our records indicated that you request to receive previews and deals from America's Test Kitchen. They're just being right up front honest and saying, yes, you asked for this, whether you requested it for a recipe, to download the recipe, however my husband gets it. We don't want you to miss out our emails. Please add our email address to your address book or safe sender list today. So I have circled that for you. So you can see that language. And then they have other things in there. They have the unscribed, view our private policy. So you want to keep thinking about your copy, avoid using all caps and multiple explanation points. For some reason that grabs spam. Use a reliable email service provider. Implement a double opt-in. So a double opt-in is when you go to have them opt in, then they say you opt in, and then they're going to send you an email back that you then click on that you agreed to opt in. That's a great way so it doesn't go into spam. And then consistently measure the success of your email marketing efforts. And why are people subscribing? Maybe they just don't want it. If you're manually putting in the emails, which some of us do, you might have just, spelled it wrong. If you are taking handwritten emails in a guest book or a book that you have up at your front counter, or you're out at an event, people write funny, not always clearly. And sometimes they give you bogus emails because they know that you're just asking for the email, but they just want to do it for whatever freebie you're giving them at the time, like whether it's a raffle or it's a drawing, and put in, give us your email. And then at the end of the event, we're going to draw a winner. And they just put in an email that is, not relevant because they just don't want to give out their emails. Probably not your highest and best customer that you want to, who's going to open your email. So really, again, just kind of look at, and if you don't have, it's interesting because when I use the email marketing service for MailChimp and I send out an email to the 3,000 folks, I have several lists. And the one that I get most responses back from is the list that's government people. It's because we're a nonprofit that works and we provide services for government agencies, cities, towns, counties. And so when I send it out on that list, there's a way that, it'll respond back to you. Well, in the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of these folks were like, had retired, or they're working remotely, or now I get them, when they're on vacation. So now you get a response back that, thank you for your email. I'll be out of the office if this is urgent. So you're knowing that that email went to them and they have that automatic response. And I get all those emails directly back into my email box. And then I can see if I need to clean it up. This person's no longer with us. It's not the bounces, it's actual people who it dropped in their box and they have an automatic response. So I get that back. Bounces, you have to go into the back end of your email marketing service and look for. Oh, okay. How are we doing on time here? Oh, I better whip through this thing. Here are some different types of campaigns. The newsletter. Email newsletter is regularly distributed. It's your goal to keep in touch with existing customers. Here's some tips. Always use a familiar from name. When you put your emails in and you're using some services will say, this will allow you to personalize it, like Dear Lani, or Dear Ralph, or whatever the name is that you put in there. So that's always really great because it's much more personalized. Break your newsletter into chunks. You just don't want one continuous narrative. Compelling images and visuals. You can embed videos. You can send them to your YouTube channel. You can send them to another email or another website. Always want to send them in one piece of your content, no matter what campaign you're doing. And you have an email, you have a website, you want them to go to your website. That is your main hub. So you want to maybe, if you're doing anything, especially if you have e-commerce, if you're selling, want to show them some of the key specials or some of the new products and lead them all back to your website where they can then purchase that product. Marketing offer. A campaign you send with the goal to drive a direct response. Buy from me, attend this event, 20% off, what it is a marketing offer. And typically those are much smaller, it's pretty condensed. It's about a new product, or you're going to be having a in-store promotion or an online promotion, or you have added value services, purchase now and get this free estimates. Maybe you're doing a service-based business and it's carpet cleaning time because we're all getting our carpets cleaned before the holidays because maybe the family's coming back, and then you're get a free estimate of your carpet clean, or free for sign up now, any carpet for these 2 bedrooms clean for $100, whatever it is. Announcement. Send to your subscribers announcing a new product, feature, or service. And this is really about adding benefit of driving people back to your store or website. This is an announcement of, and it's a little dated, but I just love this one because this really personalizes it. This is a little shop that's in Nevada County, and kitchen store has been around for, Tessa's Kitchen Store has been around for years. However, it's had several different owners. This was Steve, the past owner. He is leaving. He's wanting to introduce the new owner, as well as promote the holiday activities and where his store is actually at. And I just thought it was a great way to really say, Steve says goodbye. It was just kind of bittersweet. Since then, Penny's done a fabulous job. She's gone full on website, has cooking classes, doing all kinds of in-store demonstrations, and is, really picked up the business and moved it on through the pandemic and beyond. Event email, if you do events, better send out emails. I know that, some of the social media platforms have the event feature, but This really is drops in the email, reminds them about the event, and then you can use it as an invitation, RSVP confirmation, reminder email to inactive contacts. Maybe you have a list of people that haven't, you're scrubbing your list and you say, okay, all of them haven't really looked at this in a while. I'm going to send out a reminder that we're back. We're going to be at this event. Or even an afterwards with pictures. Thank you everybody for attending. Here is kind of a photo dump of our activities, our winners of our awards. The sky's the limit when you're having an event. And I am doing one now. I'm just managing their social media, but they have an email marketing campaign that they do, and they're doing a big fundraiser. And so we're building to that fundraiser, and they're building it with their email marketing campaigns, and we're following it up with social media posts, right? Other types, customer feedback emails, subscriber only discounts, seasonal promotions, welcome email series, second order emails. I like this one. This is a little boutique. I don't know where it was at. I think it was in, can't remember where this one, I think it might've been in Sonora, but it's a child's boutique, and they're just a really simple thank you. We can't thank you enough. Just a really simple thank you. And then right in there, it's signed by the 3 owners. And then there's a little link to their website. Now the prints, the font's real small, doesn't come through that way. It's just screenshot for this, but a very nice follow-up thank you. And if you have the time and you're segmenting your list of everybody who's joined your list or has purchased from you in the last month, and you can send out that, perfect. It will go a long ways. So what do you need to create your first campaign? You want to think about structuring your campaign for easy reading, using images and visuals to boost engagement. Really all about that. More visuals, more images, more embedded videos, and less narrative. Have that narrative somewhere where people link to it to read it. Ensure your campaign is relevant to your subscriber, whether it's your demographics, your market, past activity, customer data. Make sure your campaigns are aligned with your brand colors, fonts, and it's a branding across all of your customer touch points so that your customers have a consistent experience with your brand. Again, remember one of the first goals of brand awareness. This is a time to really take your logo, take your brand, take your colors and your fonts, and start to build them into your email templates. Make it easy to convert and optimize on all devices, and strategically time your campaigns. How often and what times are important. Maybe you follow a promotional editorial calendar. Maybe you plan them to avoid waiting too long between sends. And I would say at least monthly. If you can make a goal that you're going to send out 12 email marketing pieces a year, and that's one a month, you're going to see results. If you do 6, that's good too. The last thing we want to do is get all these emails and we never send anything out, or we wait and wait. And I get it. It's been a tough couple of years. We're just trying to get back on our feet from the pandemic, and we're still recovering. We're short-staffed. Maybe we've expanded, maybe we've downsized, maybe we've started an online and we're back in our storefront full time, and we have an online. There's just so much to do as a business, and I get it. And often what falls to the back is those things that we just really haven't engaged in yet. We hear it over and over that we probably need to do this. And I've been on my soapbox all morning talking about this, but it just never happens. You want to think about sending more promotional content. Here are some ideas: company information, products and services, our product updates and information, support information like FAQ updates, case studies. And then here is a link. This will be embedded again for 50 content ideas for you. So if you can't think of your own, you can go here to this blog, this resource, and it gives you 50 ideas. And then what are some of those things that we want to talk about for post-pandemic? I am just going to say, you know your business, you know what is changed, what you've added. These are just some recommendations. On the right-hand side, this is my CPA. She sends me out 2 emails a year worth every penny I pay her. One is the summary of what's new for business and a separate email, what's new for my personal taxes, right? So this one came out right at the CARES Act summary. And she had just put this, dear clients, we hope you know your family. And then she just put in some of the key differences. And then the second email she sends out for my business and for personal is in preparation of, want to let you know, we're getting ready to set our appointments. Here's your organizer. Here's some of the things that have changed. Here's what we're going to need. Again, very valuable for me, who assembles everything and sends them to her. And then how do you measure your success? You look at your size of your list. You look at your deliverable. Measure the rate which your emails reach your subscriber email boxes, your open rates, your click-throughs, your shares. MailChimp has an ability that you can share that email right from the email up in the top. Constant Contact does not, and if they do, I haven't found it. So that is a key difference in one of those 2 marketing email services. And then unsubscribes. Measure those who are, opt out. And whoosh, I think I have 3 minutes for questions. How'd I do, Emily?
Nice, good job.
Thank you.
All right, they're saying thank you. I don't think we have any other questions, but if you guys do have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And then I just put up a link for our survey from this webinar. So let us know how we did today, any comments you might have, or any topics that you're interested in. That helps us with information for how we can better support you.
Great.
All right, and then here's how you can contact us. There's my email. If you have any questions directly for me, or you can call our office. And then if you're not in the Shasta or Trinity County area, you can find your local SBDC at that americassbdc.org /find your SBDC.
So Emily, we have like 2 minutes. Do you want to share how you have put together our e-newsletter? Because it's so great. And I just thought maybe you might have some tips you wanted to share with our attendees.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like to use our logo colors in the document, kind of ties everything together. Typically like to put a lot of the important stuff first, so stuff that we want clients to see first or not miss out on, whether that's important updates in the business community, a special event we want them to know, things like that. And then we always put upcoming webinars in there, so some of our stuff, as well as our local organizations that we either partner with for some things, or maybe there's just a good no-cost webinar that we want to make sure that you're aware about in case that helps you out. So yeah, we like to have all those on there.
Great. I know when I first started putting e-newsletters together for clients, that I'm hired to do, I started like folders and I dropped things that I've come across my website or my email, right? Or a blog from one of my sources, whether it was LinkedIn, or I've subscribed to several different industry related or partners, right? And I would drop it in that folder and I would call it, Q3 newsletter, so that when it was time to put everything together, I had all that content, because finding the content is hard. It's not that it's hard, it's just time consuming. And I found that little tip of just like making a folder on my emails, just that I would drop those links in there. Or if it was like a PDF or something that was like hard copy, I would put that on my desktop into a folder so I could get a reminder.
Right.
Yeah. And other tip for content for people is, if you're going to be showcasing different events, it's like you have to check out websites. So maybe a listing of websites are in, you have a listing of the website you go to find out if they have an upcoming event or something. So we all have our we all have our ways, and it's just, when you get ready to prepare that email marketing piece, especially if you're putting together one that has more information than just an upcoming marketing one, it does help to have some kind of system.
Right. For sure. And yeah, a lot of times we actually, as we do use Constant Contact, so we actually copy and paste the previous email, and then we have less work to do when we're just updating stuff. So.
Perfect. Okay, well, I want to really thank you, Emily, for hosting this today and having me share my 2 cents on email marketing made simple. And I think our next one that I'm doing is going to be next Thursday at 9:00.
Yeah, so next Thursday, and then I just put the link in there for everyone.
Okay.
If you want to sign up for that.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and stop sharing, and want to thank everybody. And thank you again, Emily, and everybody have a great week.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lani.
Okay. Bye-bye.